Why does the Quran retell biblical stories but change key details? One of the most striking features of the Quran is how often it retells stories found in the Bible. Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, David, Solomon, Mary, and Jesus. Muslims often say this proves the Quran is confirming earlier revelation. But there's a serious question that deserves attention. Why does the Quran retell biblical stories while changing key details? If the Quran is meant to correct previous scriptures, we would expect it to align more closely with the earliest and most reliable sources. Instead, what we often find are shortened retellings, altered details, and theological adjustments that raise historical concerns. The Bible clearly identifies Isaac as the son involved in the near sacrifice. The Quran never names the son, but later Islamic tradition identifies him as Ishmael. This change conveniently supports Arab lineage claims. Yet there is no earlier Jewish or Christian source that supports Ishmael replacing Isaac in this story. Consider Moses and Pharaoh. The Quran repeatedly refers to a single Pharaoh without naming him and sometimes places characters like Haman, known from the Persian period, into an Egyptian setting where he does not historically belong. This creates chronological problems that do not exist in the biblical narrative. Then there is Mary, the mother of Jesus. In the Quran, she is called the sister of Aaron, a phrase that caused confusion even among Muhammad's contemporaries. Islamic explanations later tried to reinterpret this symbolically, but the problem remains. The text itself closely resembles earlier Jewish and Christian traditions, while blending figures separated by centuries. Even more telling is where these altered details appear to come from. Many Quranic stories closely resemble later Jewish midrash and Christian apocryphal writings, not the earliest biblical texts. Stories like Jesus speaking as a baby or Mary giving birth under a palm tree are absent from the Gospels, but appear in non-canonical writings that circulated centuries after Jesus. This raises an important historical issue. If the Quran is correcting the Bible, why does it reflect later legends and interpretive traditions rather than earlier eyewitness accounts? Corrections should move closer to original sources, not further away from them. Muslims often say the Quran gives the true version, but that claim assumes what it is trying to prove. From a historical standpoint, earlier sources carry more weight than later retellings, especially when those retellings adjust theology to fit a new religious framework. The pattern is consistent. Familiar stories, reshaped to support Islamic theology, authority, and identity. That doesn't automatically make them false, but it does challenge the claim that the Quran is simply restoring lost truth. So the real question is not whether